Well, here we are in the last week of August. Our permanent portfolio is up a little over 14% year to date, which we're happy with. But as we head into the fall, there are two major concerns that are going to cause, I think, a lot of volatility and a lot of problems. First of all, in a little over 2 months, we have a U.S. election that is going to be, without a doubt, the most polarizing election in U.S. history, as both parties are really presenting totally different views of what America is and where it's going. And I think it's even possible that both parties could reject the election results, just given how intense this election is. There's lots of ways, there's lots of disruptions that could come to pass. Even the World Economic Forum came out with a report August 19th talking about all the possible disruptions as we head into the fall. So the election is a real wild card. And surprisingly, markets really aren't building this in as of yet. Secondly, we've got two wars that are still going on with really no sign of any let up or of any possible peace process in either. Recently, we've seen that the Ukraine has started a new front against Russia in the Kursk area, and that has sort of amplified the problems with this war. So that is likely to continue. And we've also got the Israeli-Hamas battle going on, where more and more Lebanon is involved with Hamas, or Hezbollah rather, getting involved in a strong way, which ultimately brings Iran into the picture. So a lot of uncertainty with markets that I think that the financial markets aren't really building in the true risk of what is going on. Now, despite everything that I've said, it's important that clients not overreact to the news, because quite often the news can be very troubling. One of the reasons we have the permanent portfolio is that we're never too heavily weighted in any one sector. So despite the fear and the disruptions and just the unsettling nature of what we're going to see, it's important that people stay calm, that our portfolio is designed for this. And remember, the worst year we've ever had is a loss of 5.2%. And that was 2 years ago when interest rates went from 0 to 5.5. So I think people have to just keep their heads through this. We're prepared for it, and just try to roll with the punches. Recently, the economic data has made it possible for Chairman Powell of the U.S. Federal Reserve to begin making interest rate cuts in September. The economic data has weakened considerably, and the markets are actually quite jubilant about the fact that we are going to get rate cuts in September. The real question is really right now, is it going to be a quarter point or a half point? But people have to remember, rate cuts, yes, they do reduce the cost of borrowing and they make other assets more attractive. But the reason rate cuts are going to take place is because the economy is weakening. There's an old market follower named Marty Zwag, who I followed decades ago, whose adage was, don't fight the Fed. And his research showed that the best time to buy the stock market is on the third rate cut. So the first couple of rate cuts, we may see the market actually go down as the realization sets in that these rate cuts are occurring because the economy is that weak. Now, for example, the 2-year Treasury in the U.S. is trading at a yield right now about 3.8%, with the Fed funds rate at 5.5. This means the market is essentially building in at least a 2% cut by the Fed over the next couple of months or half year, for example, to get more in line with a normalized yield curve. So October and September could be very, very hairy for the markets as the economy becomes more and more apparent that the economy is weakening. So we have 20% in equity in our permanent portfolio, so we're not going to be subject to the great volatility that takes place. And fortunately, we'll be able to profit from the volatility that occurs from, I think, going to be a very tumultuous September and October.